Hello and welcome or welcome back to International Yankee English. My name is Ashley, aka Academic Ashley, and today we're going to talk about 5 things to keep in mind when you are writing an academic English essay. Okay, guys, let's start with thing number 1, and that is your voice. No, I don't mean the volume of your voice or your accent, but I mean your writing voice. A writing voice is a style of writing. You can find more information about voice and how to use it in my 8-week video series. And then also on Monday, I will have a members only video if you join my channel for €1 a month, where I will expand on this and the other 5 things to keep in mind for writing an academic essay. Voice is extremely important because you need to consider your audience and what they want from your writing. And when you understand voice, then you understand how to write for your audience, and your writing is considered better. So whether you are a high school student submitting a simple assignment for school, or you are a postdoc maybe, and you're trying to submit an academic article in a peer-reviewed journal, you usually have some form of a referencing system that you need to follow. What's really important when you consider referencing is that you consider what is expected of you, which referencing system are you supposed to be applying, and then also which edition of it. For example, APA has many different editions, and you want to make sure that if there are any areas in the referencing system that you need to use that are gray areas, meaning they're open to interpretation, one professor or one editor of a journal could interpret or expect different ways of using the referencing system, that you ask the person that you are writing it for what they expect of you. Okay, thing number 3, and this kind of ties in to referencing, but this is sources. So the difference between referencing and sources is that referencing is simply the style, the formatting that you are using in order to make it clear where the reader could go to find the sources that you used. You are referencing and citing other authors in a specific way. However, your sources, that refers to the collection of sources, finding reliable sources, and integrating the sources properly into your essay, as well as in a complex manner that supports your writing. So you could technically do correct referencing. You can have reliable sources that make sense for your topic and that you apply the referencing correctly in your essay. But if you always are simply putting in brackets at the end of a sentence, the author's last name, if necessary, for example, a direct quote, the page, and then the year it was published, and you do that every time you cite a source, not only is it stylistically not very interesting, but sometimes it also feels a bit, I don't want to use too strong of an adjective, but it feels a little bit unreliable, perhaps. College students are especially guilty of this. They know they have X amount of sources they need to use in order to get a passing grade. So they simply find a source to support their claims, and they just plop, plop, put it in the essay. They sprinkle their essay with some sources. And writing teachers are not dumb. Most teachers are not dumb. They know what you're doing. And perhaps they are okay with you doing it because they see that you understand the topic and maybe writing isn't your strength. But if you hope to do any kind of academic research or to be taken seriously in your writing, then you need to integrate your sources. I have a great video on this in my 8-week writing series. I will also talk more about it on my Member Monday video next week. But what's really important is that the sources that you use are supporting the things that you are saying and not just talking about something in the realm of what you are saying. So if you are making a claim that social media is creating an increase in body dysmorphia in teenage girls, don't simply cite articles that talk about that topic find quotes within those articles that are supporting an argument you are making in favor of or against the use of social media under a certain age, etc. Find quotes that support it. Find really specific examples from that source and tie it together with the arguments you are making. Don't simply use the source as kind of a look, they said this too, and plopping it at the end of your sentence. That is not strong writing, and you will not be taken seriously in an academic setting if you do that. Okay, moving right along to thing number 4, and this is structure. I have an entire video, I will put the thumbnail somewhere here, about structuring academic writing and academic essays. So you can go ahead and watch that. It's rather long. You can put the playback speed a little bit higher if you're short on time. Check the description box for timestamps. But what's really important when it comes to structuring your essay is that you understand how to provide the reader with the information that you're giving them. You need to be really thorough and clear from beginning to end, from the beginning of your introduction all the way till the last sentence of your conclusion through your referencing list. That has to be really clear, but you also want to be engaging to the reader. So you don't want to keep repeating yourself and the information, but you need to give enough information. You need to tie different parts of your essay together with previously mentioned parts of your essay so that everyone understands how the topics you're bringing up are connected, but also you're leaving out any unnecessary information. So that is why structuring the entire essay, the sections of your essay, as well as the paragraphs within your essay, as well as even the sentences within your essay, is so important. I will talk more about this on Monday, but you could really go on and on. You could take an entire course simply on structuring academic essays. It's really a big topic, and if you at least understand the basics of it, you should be able to write a decent essay. But if you're really looking to dive deeper and become a strong academic writer, then you should go beyond the basics and try to learn a bit more about structuring an academic essay correctly, and not just correctly, but interestingly. So in a way that is engaging to the reader, that they want to read more, that your argument becomes more convincing rather than simply acceptable. Okay, and the other thing you want to consider when it comes to writing is that writing styles are personal, they are subjective. Nobody is an objectively good writer, but there is probably not a single writer that's ever lived here on planet Earth that has impressed or been considered a strong writer by every single person who has read their writing, because there are different styles and preferences that readers have. So you will never please everybody 100%, but there are, especially in academic writing, there are certain norms and expectations of people who are writing essays. So you want to understand what are the general common threads and themes in academic writing so that you can try to be rest assured that your writing is at least considered academic, even if it's not considered the best. Okay, and our last thing to consider, thing number 5, this is probably something you think, why is this its own thing? Doesn't this fit in structure or something else? But I think it's extremely important. It is related to structure, but it definitely deserves its own category. And the thing number 5 that you are going to consider when it comes to academic writing is the length. So sometimes it's really straightforward and simple. You get an assignment in school and it's 1 page or 500 words. Or, you need to write a thesis that needs to be from 25,000 to 40,000 words. Don't go below that and don't go beyond that. Referencing the reference list and direct quotes within your thesis aren't included in the word count. Everything else from after the abstract until the reference list is included. Sometimes it's really simple and clear and clearly laid out for you. However, when I say length, I don't just mean the length within an entire essay or thesis or article that you are writing, but I also mean each section, the length of each section within your essay or your academic article or thesis or whatever you are writing. And also, you need to consider that sometimes you get an assignment, whether it be at school or at work or when you're submitting an article to an academic journal, you don't have any set length, word count, or page count. And you need to be in charge of figuring out what length is correct. How much space, how many sections do I need to properly cover this topic without becoming redundant? And that's something that's really difficult to do if you haven't been writing on this topic, or you're not an expert in this area. So that's something that you need to consider, whether it is already given to you. How am I going to fill in the length each section? And if you don't have an assigned word count or page count, how do I want to structure this, and what do I think is a proper range? How long should it be? An example of this is that your introduction and your conclusion individually each should be about 10%. That's not a hard percentage, but approximately 10% of your total length of your essay. So the introduction 10%, conclusion 10%, that leaves all of the body elements as 80% of your essay. So if you have an introduction that's only 50 words and a conclusion that's only 50 words, then you already know how much your body should be. And if you think that's way too short, then you may have to consider the scope of your writing. And do I need to then change my introduction around? And my conclusion obviously needs to be stronger. And you have to check in relation to the body paragraphs and the sections in between. If you're writing a thesis, that's a little bit different. Your introduction and your conclusion will not encompass as much of a percentage, but they do still need to cover a certain amount of elements within your thesis. So it's extremely important to consider the length and how much of your essay is really going to focus on which points, and how are you going to organize your thoughts and your arguments within every section of your essay. So I will talk about this a little bit more on the members only video on Monday, but also you can go ahead and check the paragraphing video that I have in the 8-week academic writing series playlist here. That's just for anyone on YouTube. You don't even have to be subscribed. Anyone can watch that as well. Okay, guys, that is it for today. Those are the 5 things that I want you to consider when you are writing an academic essay. If you found this video useful, please do me a favor, hit the like button and comment your thoughts below. Tell me which parts you found most interesting, and if you have any questions, let me know what they are down below in the comments and I will respond back to you. And if you think this kind of content or the other types of videos on my channel are interesting and helpful to you, please consider subscribing. If you hit that little bell, you will get notifications every time I post a video. And if you want even more content from me, please consider supporting the channel by hitting that join button and becoming a member for just €1 or $1. They're about equal right now, each month. And you will get immediate access to over 30 exclusive videos, and you get members only videos every single month. I also take requests from my members for certain topics, and I make videos on those topics then to give back and say thank you to the members for supporting my channel. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in the comment section or at my next live stream. Bye!